I'm going to try my best not to fall asleep tonight. I know Tammy's in the same boat. So if I doze off and I disappear all of a sudden, just, continue on. Continue on. There we go. Perfect. Perfect, Christine. Okay. So yeah, some way to elevate your legs. Like I said, it can be up straight up the wall, having your feet up on an ottoman. That's what I think I'm going to do, or on a couch or chair, but some way to quite literally take a load off. And look at me all wrapped up in my blanket. Honestly, if it wasn't for you guys, I would be in bed right now. So I'm happy to be here with you. And we're just going to keep our fingers crossed and make it. All right. So we're going to go feet up and lay on back. We may have an opportunity to use a strap a little later today in our practice, but let's just do one thing at a time. Oh, I really might fall asleep here all cozy. So legs are elevated. So glad you're all here. So glad you're making this a priority for more for your nervous system than for your body necessarily, although our bodies are going to appreciate this as well. Especially this initial posture is intended to help us to arrive and relax and get ourselves settled in and settled down. So, as you all likely know, or just a gentle reminder, our Tuesday night class is typically it's not been a stretching based class. We do get a little bit of stretching for sure, but it's really about quietening down our whole nervous system. So we'll do a little bit of movement. We'll do some held, gentle held posture. We're going to focus on quite a bit of restorative work tonight. So yes, we will do a few somatic sequences, but we will also be focusing on restorative postures. Deep rest. So with your legs up, we can either take our arms out to the side if that feels more comfortable, or we might put our hands on our belly, on our tummy, on our hand, one hand on our chest, one hand on our belly, whichever you prefer. And just softening down the eyes and softening the jaw, just relaxing through the face, relaxing through the neck. Starting to feel the weight of your physical body settling down and into the earth. If, like me, you've kind of inadvertently crossed your ankles, try to uncross them as best as you can, even though you have that one favorite ankle that likes to sit on top of the other or one favorite foot. Try to uncross and let them remain neutral. And come into a gentle awareness of your breathing. If you've got some nice peaceful music on, that would be delightful. That would be lovely. But peace and quiet is quite nice as well. So there's not really a whole lot to say or do at the moment. Once again, you might scan your physical body and feel any areas that you are gripping or clinging, consciously letting go in these spaces. This initial posture, as simple and basic as it may feel, is an offering to our spine and to our nervous system, our central nervous system, that is, of course, housed in the spine and in the brain, that we're calm, that we're nice and relaxed, that there's nothing that we need to do here. And so let's give that brain a job by reminding it that all it needs to focus on right now is the details of how the breath is entering your body and how the breath is exiting your body. How the breath is entering your body. I am breathing in. This is what I'm noticing. And how the breath is leaving your body. This is what I'm noticing. Let's try that maybe 2 or 3 more times. The slowest, most controlled and gentle breath you can manage. Conscious, trying your best to not let your mind wander too far away. I am here. I am with my breath. Okay, we can leave our bodies where they are. So if your legs are up a wall, on a bolster, on a couch, wherever they are. And we can begin by moving our head slowly from side to side. Like, I mean, really slowly, like turning it in one direction as far as it will go without force, and just seeing how it feels. Bringing it back through center and turning it all the way in the other direction, again, without force, and seeing how it feels. So just back and forth, nice and slowly. Feeling what you're feeling. And you might even get to a point where you want to hold your head for maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, maybe longer. And this is a really nice time to simply observe and to give your body what it needs, right? Remember, this is like a retraining of our brain, of our body to move more slowly, to be more mindful, to be more observant with what you experience, what you feel in your physical body. Okay, so maybe 1 or 2 more on each side as you wish. And then finally, just coming back through to center and having a rest. So depending on how you have positioned yourself, if you are at a couch, you could always move away. If you've got your legs up the wall, you can slowly start to bring them down. But if you're using, let's say, a bolster or a pillow underneath your feet, you're welcome to leave it there. So what I mean by this is that your feet could be slightly elevated here, or you could even use, like I was using an ottoman, you could even keep your feet up there. We're going to be doing a little bit of gentle hip work, one leg at a time. I'm also just going to let my furry little friend in here who clearly wants to come in. Hey, come on in. You can never decide between dad time and mom time, especially when we've both been out of the house all day. Okay, lay down your blanket. All right, so I'm going to use my feet on my bolster, but your feet could be on the ground. It's entirely up to you. And you've got your knees bent and your knees are pointing to the sky. I'm just going to move around so you can see me as much as I'm sure you want to see Kyle because he's far cuter than I am. He's not teaching you yoga. All right, so our knees are bent. Our feet are either on the floor or, as mine are, might be elevated on a block or a bolster. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one hip at a time. Nice, slow, slow, slow movement. So I'm going to place my left hand on my left hip bone, and that's to act as a stabilizer. And I'm going to open my right knee, my right hip to the right, not too far, like not all the way. And then I'm going to bring my knee back through to center. So slowly opening that knee up. It might only be a few inches, but try not to go all the way into your full range. I know it's tempting. You might think, oh, I can do this. I want to go for a nice big stretch. But remember, our aim, our goal is to calm the nervous system. And even if it doesn't feel like much to you, your brain, if it feels threatened, like if it recognizes that this is a really big stretch and we're going all the way, then it is going to react in a way of protection. Right? So we want to avoid that. We want to keep the nervous system really calm, really peaceful, feeling really safe. So it's just a small movement, and you might synchronize your breathing with your movements, or you might just move and breathe naturally. Let's do about two more here. Okay, last one. Very nice. Okay, bring that left knee to the top if you haven't already. Put your right hand on your right hip. And let's start with the left knee, just a little bit, opening and closing. So sometimes in our yoga practice, even when we know better, we can get carried away in striving, right? We can get carried away in, what's the biggest stretch? What's the strongest pose? What's the, how many, whatever, chaturanga push-ups? I don't know if we're all there anymore, but, we still have kind of this little goal mindset, this pushing mindset. And in this kind of a practice, it's the complete opposite. So there is a gentleness and a passivity and a restraint that we use in this practice that can sometimes be actually harder than going to your fullest capacity. So again, nice and slow, a few more times. Good, maybe two more. Practicing the art of slowing down, more for your nervous system than for your body. Okay. As you bring that last one up, we're going to bring ourselves into a konasana. I think we did this the other night too. So the soles of our feet are coming together and our knees are coming apart. Now I've got my feet, my whole lower body actually kind of elevated on a bolster. What does that do? It allows my lower back, I don't know if you can actually see here, but I have my feet up on the bolster. And the reason I'm doing that is because it allows the big curve in my lower spine, my lumbar vertebrae, to get closer to the ground. So some people don't need to do that. Some people can let their feet rest like this in konasana on the floor and it feels delightful. Or they might have blocks underneath their knees. But when I do that myself, I feel that really deep, deep, deep arching of my low back that's quite uncomfortable. So this is the alternative. We're going to stay here. We're going to close our eyes. You're going to get cozy under your blanket. This is going to be a held posture. And we're going to hold this for 5 minutes. I'm actually starting my timer. So 5 minutes for you to close your eyes, maybe even doze off. And practice your breath. Okay, so you've got that nice hip opener, your feet are together, your knees are apart. If you need a bolster or rather blocks underneath the outside of your thighs, we can do that. If we want to cover up the eyes, placing an eye pillow over the eyes, we can do that too. And I would really encourage you as well to have your hands on your tummy, on your belly. so you can feel that beautiful flow in and out of your breath. You can think of all of the things that you could be doing right now that would be maybe highly productive or maybe not. Maybe laying in front of the TV eating chips, or maybe running around and doing the laundry, whatever it is. But recognizing that this stillness, this chosen stillness, has so many elements of productivity in terms of rest and recovery in our physical bodies from our other activities, from a wellness perspective, as I've mentioned, of our central nervous system. So it really does support our mental health. It does support the calibration of our nervous system. And we're preparing ourselves for bed, for deep rest. So we're about halfway in our time in this particular posture. Again, if you have your eyes open, I recommend closing them down, feeling the heaviness of your thighs. So they are simply surrendering into gravity. They're nice and heavy, nice and open through those hips. Just letting yourself be held. We're going to be here for just a little while longer. Notice any fluctuations in your emotions or your mindset that arrive. Maybe there's anxiousness or impatience, and that's okay if these things come up, right? This is all part of it. When we have a regular practice, when we are on our mats every week or a few times a week, whatever the case may be, we have this consistency or regularity that allows us to watch how things change, right? How one week silence and stillness might feel delightful and accessible, whereas the following week you might think, this is horrible, like I can't stay still any longer. And I think all of us know by the age that we're at that that's life, right? Ebbs and flows. And as much as you can, just gently meeting yourself wherever you're at tonight, whether that is in anxiousness or whether it is in peace, or maybe it's a little bit of both. And we're going to stay here for one more minute. Okay, so see if you can slow your breath like right down for this last 30 seconds. How slowly can you breathe? Filling your lungs, using your diaphragm all of the way. And then very, very completely and slowly releasing that one more breath. And that's that. That was 5 minutes. So you can guide your knees back together. Maybe with using your hands, you can bring them up towards your chest. Maybe interlace your fingers underneath your knees. And I would love for you to just gently rock from side to side, massaging your back in your Upanasan, your knees to belly, which is a supporting posture for the digestive system. Just these little rocks from side to side. Good. A couple more times. There's no rush whatsoever. Okay, terrific. So you can lower both of those feet down to the ground. You're actually going to straighten them all the way out now. So I just kind of rolled mine out on my bolster. But we're going to bring our bodies into full extension. So laying ourselves straight out. Now, again, we did a little bit of this the other night, a little bit of banana pose, but we're going to hold our banana pose this evening. So take both of your feet over to the right. Okay, they're off your mat, very likely. And I'm going to suggest crossing your left ankle over top of your right. Okay, so they're kind of veering out to the right. Your left ankle is above your right, crossed over your right. Okay, you can take both of your arms up and above your head. We all know this. We're also going to curve our upper body to the right. And I'm going to also suggest that maybe you can take a hold of your left wrist in your right hand, or even interlace your fingers, palm to palm, like hand to hand. Excuse me, just so that we can get that little bit of extra kind of anchoring of those hands to stay in place. Try to make sure your left upper arm is on the ground as well, and that your chin is simply falling in towards your right shoulder. Okay, we're going to hold 2 minutes per side on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this timer, reset, and start on this side. So banana pose, again, this is a very passive one this evening. There's a little bit of compression, a little bit of squeezing on the right side of your torso. Your head is falling down towards the right. We can close the eyes, soften the jaw. Breathe deeply into your tummy, into your belly. I'm just going to let this happen. Let's notice that we're not creating more tension for ourselves by clenching any parts of our body, in particular our jaw. So very much softening, softening anywhere that you're clinging or gripping. Once more, how slow can your breath be? Okay, and that's our 2 minutes there, everyone. So as you come out, before we do the other side, bring your arms back through to center, bring your legs back through to center. Bend both of your knees once again. Kind of bring yourself into that opposing stretch, so knees to chest, and rock your body from side to side. So I'm very much, I didn't say this out loud, but I'm very much doing kind of like, well, it's not even yin yang, but complementary or counter poses. So we did our hips apart, right? Knees open, and then this last one, legs were together, body was curved. So we're going to take this little space in between just to kind of reset before we do the other side. And I'm giving us a minute here, so you got to go 20 more seconds. Just to gently rock or hold those knees to chest. Okay, we're going to extend both of our legs again. This time we're bringing them over to the left. And so here, your right ankle is crossing over your left. Your arms are going above your head. You're curving your upper body to the left. And same but opposite, you're maybe holding on to your left wrist with your right hand. and creating just a little bit more of a gentle pull. Your head, chin is falling down to the left shoulder. Try to be dead weight here. Just let your whole body be heavy and relax. What are you doing, bud? So gravity is absolutely doing the job here, everyone. Hey, sweet boy. I don't know if I'm as exciting as he thought I was going to be. There we go. So 2 full minutes here. What can we focus on? What can we concentrate on? Well, our breath, of course. Slow, deep breaths. Because these are more kind of restorative forms or shapes that we're taking in our body. Encourage your breath to follow that same energy of slow, heavy, gradual breaths that have rest or space between them. Okay, we've got about 20 more seconds for our 2 minutes here on this side. And we can come away from that. So same as before, come back through to center, bring those knees up towards your chest, either one at a time or two at a time. You can be crossed at the ankle or the feet can be apart, and we'll just offer the body that nurturing rock from side to side. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of shoulder work. Again, this idea of the somatic chill movements. So nothing overly wild and crazy. You're going to get you to roll over onto your right side or left if you prefer, whatever's more accessible. You might want something underneath your head, and you might want something between your knees for any of our side lying positions, as I'm sure you know. Take care of yourself, right? You don't want to think, oh, I wish I had this or I wish I had that. I'm going to do it too because I'm going to walk the walk, have something underneath my head. My sweatshirt wasn't cutting it there, and a blank or a block between the knees, and a blanket on me because I'm freezing. My poor little heart tries so hard to keep me warm, but sometimes it just can't. I was in a cold place for most of the day, so I haven't been able to really fully warm up. I was teaching CPR, and I had my hand on a lady. She's like, "Ooh, your hands are freezing. You need iron." And I'm like, "Oh, sister, I need more than iron, but I'm just gonna leave that there." I just nodded and said, "Yep." It's like, I need a new heart is what I need. Anyways, it was kind of funny, but I kept it to myself. Okay, so we're side lying. If you can't laugh, you cry. Your right arm is coming out in front of you, right out in front of you. Okay, and I know some of you might be thinking, oh, I know what we're doing here. We're not necessarily, I mean, you're more than welcome to do your lay a little love, but we're going to be focusing more on a nice big thoracic rotation. So palm on palm, left hand on right hand, your right shoulder is relaxed, your head is relaxed. So we're going to start kind of like we did with our hip of not going all the way. So as you breathe in, you're simply going to bring your arm up to 90 degrees. That's it. So your spine stays perfectly still. So you're not opening up and twisting. You're making a perfect 90-degree angle. Nothing more. Maybe like 95 degrees, but really that's it. 90 degrees. Then as you breathe out, you're going to bring that hand to close. Your head's going to fall to the ground. Breathing in, we are simply opening up to 90. So we're just using some restraint here. Breathing out, we're bringing ourselves back down. And let's do 2 more. So we're just doing 4 at this range, quarter range, and close, And one more time, just like that, breathing in. Right? Restraint doesn't feel that bad, does it? And breathing out. Now this time we'll do the same thing. So we'll go up to our 90, but take it about a 15 or maybe 25-degree more. So not much, just so you start to feel that nice stretch. And then bring it down. And this time bring your hand, your left hand past your right. Okay. Your top hand past your bottom. Bring it back a little bit further than the last time, but still in control. And then all the way down. This is building safety in your body, safety in your nervous system. Two more like that. So it's gradual, it's progressive, and your nervous system recognizes it's safe. One more time. Okay. Now this time we're going to do four more. You can go as big as you want to go or as small as you want to go. Okay, so you might even pause for a moment and go like, what's my MO here? What's my main objective? Am I really being gentle with myself? Am I exhausted? Maybe I want smaller ones. If I really would like a bit of a stretch, I'm going to go a bit bigger, but I'm also knowing myself and I'm not going to force it. So this time you can bring your arm up to 90, maybe a little bit past that. And then if your body says yes, go a little further past that. But what I don't want you to do is to go into a full twist. So you're really trying to keep your spine stable. You're not twisting your spine. You're just opening up that chest and then bringing the arm back. Okay, three more times. So it's like someone's kind of holding, and you could even do this yourself, holding onto your rib cage. So you're only bringing that arm back as far as you're keeping the rib cage fairly stable. Your hand goes past its partner. Two more times. So thoracic mobilization, breathing in, breathing out. And one more time, breathing in and breathing out. Good. Now take that top hand, I think it's your left, if you're laying on your right side, and kind of tuck it underneath your shoulder. So it's like actually holding onto your shoulder blade. Drop that elbow right down, and then take your other arm and just put a little bit of weight on it to wherever it lands, so that you're just creating a little bit of a gentle stretch in your back shoulder and your posterior shoulder. And just rock just a little bit, just like rock, rock, rock. Kind of like you're trying to unwedge something by rocking. Just little rocks, rocks, kind of like loving little rocks. Again, we're just creating a very little bit of controlled mobility through the thoracic spine. If you want to go slower, you can go slower. If you don't like your hands tucked under there, you don't have to have your hand tucked under. Good. And then just kind of lean towards the ground. You can leave your arms where they are, like you're kind of hugging yourself. Let your head fall in towards the ground. And let's practice taking about 5 or 6 breaths here, where it feels like you're breathing into your back rib cage more than anything else. Okay, so breathing into your back and then letting it all go. You have to give yourself this little hug. You get to get a little bit of space created between your shoulder blades. And you get that loving touch that your nervous system doesn't really know who it's from, right? It just recognizes that it feels nice, feels comforting, it feels safe. Then when you're done with that, you can release, kind of roll yourself out, open up your arms, maybe give yourself a nice big stretch, this time going into a deeper twist if your body says yes. So turning your head away from your legs. Big stretch. If you trust my voice, you can simply roll over onto your other side. Just roll, roll, roll. If you prefer to see what's going on, you can pivot yourself around. This is pretty much the extent of it tonight, everyone. It's really super chill. You can take um, my level of tiredness tonight for a really peaceful practice. Okay, let me see my phone here for the timer. So, same idea. We're really focusing on restraint here for this first round. So make sure your head is comfy, your hips are comfy, you're all set here. Your top hand is coming on your bottom hand. And remember, we are just using restraint, especially for the first round. So top hand, top arm is coming up to create a 90-degree angle. That's your breath in. And your breath out is coming down. So slow and steady. Breathing in, breathing out. Couple more. Breathing in, breathing out. Slow, slow, slow. One more time. Restraint and patience. Breathing in, teaching the body that it's safe. And breathing out. This time we go a little bit further. So we breathe into 90, and then we go just a wee bit more, like maybe maximum a foot. As we breathe out, we're bringing that hand down and past its partner. Breathing in, the arm comes up and back. Breathing out, down and past its partner. Two more. Slow it down, quiet the movements. And one more to that degree. Okay, fantastic. And then we've got four more. And these last four are where we're taking the arm as far as we want to go without force and trying not to twist our spine. So you're more or less exploring the range of motion that's available to you through your shoulder and chest, as opposed to dropping into or taking advantage of the movement of your spine. So when you get to that point where it feels kind of like tight, great. Your main job is not to surpass or not to force something that's not supposed to go any further today. And that's how we build muscular flexibility, right? Rather than joint mobility. We love joint mobility too. But if I took my arm and then I continued to move my chest, then I'm creating mobility through the spine, right? And we're trying to minimize that. But on this last one, I kind of give you permission to open it up, to have that more spinal twist, and to rest there for a few breaths if you like. So this lovely sequence of rotating slightly, opening up the front body. And then we're going to counterpose that with kind of one of our last postures tonight. It's going to be a little bit shorter. I'm going to end a few minutes early this evening, just because honestly, I don't even think I can keep my eyes open, falling asleep. But we're going to bring ourselves over. And my suggestion is if you have your bolster, to do a supported child's pose. And we're going to do 2 minutes with our head turned in one direction and 2 minutes with our head turned in the other direction. So great little tip here, I think you all know this one, is if you are using a bolster, which is an amazing suggestion, is you've got your block underneath your bolster so that you have a little spot for your arms. And where did I put my phone? There it is. We're going to go 2 minutes on either side. So turn your head to your favorite side or whatever side it ended up. Get yourself all cozy. Open up your knees. Maybe, oh, I forgot the rocking. Shoot. Okay, okay, never mind. I'm just thinking out loud. I forgot the rocking, hugging one on that side. It's okay. For now, we'll just do our child's pose. Close your eyes. Let your body be heavy and restful. Just let gravity again take over. Let yourself settle in. Okay, you got about 30 more seconds. Can we breathe into our back? Can we feel how the exhale just melts our body, softens our shoulders, softens our jaw? We practice that letting go. And that's our 2 minutes. So turn your head in the opposite direction. And if you're like me and you have your arms like crossed under your bolster, recross them so that the opposite arm is sitting on top. Okay, and then again, turn your head and have your 2 minutes here. I'll remind you one more time if you can. Feel like you're breathing into your back. Nice, slow, slow breaths. Heavy, heavy exhales. And about 15 more seconds, so probably one more nice deep breath here. All right. So as you get ready to come away from that, you can either bring yourself up to sit or you can kind of just roll yourself over. We're going to spend just about 3 minutes to finish our practice. We finish a little early tonight. So however you'd like to position your body, whether you want to lie down, whether you want to bring yourself over your bolster, maybe recline with your chest open, your feet up. And I'm going to finish with a little bit of a reading for you. So you can get yourself into any comfortable position to receive. Maybe there's a pose that we didn't do tonight or a position, or maybe you want to finish with your legs up again. It's entirely up to you. And you can find your breathing, find your simple breath, peaceful breath. And let yourself just shut down the mind if possible. How do we do that? Well, we can focus on our breathing. We can shut down any of the movements in our arms and in our limbs. And we can bring our attention just to the flow of our breathing, to notice, to feel I am breathing in and I am breathing out. And just kind of to the nature of our practice this evening, which, we didn't do a lot, and I'm sorry I did forget that little hug on the other side. So when you're laying in bed tonight, lay on your left side, give yourself that little hug, and just take that little rock if you remember. I'll take responsibility if you're out of balance here. Okay. So this little reading is quite lovely, and it's called Being. It can be easy for me to get caught up in doing an inexhaustible list of things. But doesn't life on autopilot, racing from one thing to the next, miss the whole point? I pause, I close my eyes, I breathe. I remember that the beauty is in the being. In this moment, I open my senses, I expand my awareness to the fullness of this moment. I tap into what is going on around me and how I'm really feeling. I embrace and invite the magic and magnitude of all of it. I commit to being fully present and an active participant in my own life. I will meet the world in this moment from a place of deep love and reverence. I will savor this moment and know that the most valuable contribution I can make is being real, raw, and authentic, being myself, being right here. So let yourself just savor this moment of stillness, of being rather than doing. I'm so grateful for you, so glad for you that you value this time of rest as well as of doing and achieving and striving. And I hope that this very gentle practice tonight helped you to relax and prepares you for sleep, because that's what it's done for myself and Kyle. So thank you everyone for showing up for yourself tonight, for showing up for one another. Tomorrow, just a little change. I'm on at 6 because I have to be in the city fairly early for an appointment. So a strength class at 6. And that's our only morning class this week. Just it is and it has been a very, very busy week for me. So thank you for being flexible. And if I see you tomorrow at 6, I might be by myself. I will see you then. And if not, maybe I will see you on Thursday evening for our stretch. Good night, Marie. Good night, Beth. Good night, Christine. Good night, Tammy. And good night, Nancy. Sweet dreams. Night, night. Thanks for the heart, Nancy.